Okay, this is Michael Pepper for MMABay.co.uk in association with FightDentist.com with UK middleweight star Michael the Count Bisping. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
My pleasure.
So, got to ask you, start off with, how are you feeling after the loss at 100 in July?
I mean, it's been a good few weeks now, so I'm fine about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whenever I think about the fight, obviously, I get annoyed and annoyed with myself more than anything. I'm not taking anything away from Dan Henderson. He did a fantastic job on the night. He took me out. He was the first man to ever stop me. He did fantastically, but I was more annoyed at myself because I didn't go out there and fight to the best of my ability. I think it's, it might be a bit of a cliche, but people always say, as long as you go out there and try your best, that's all you can do. And, I definitely didn't feel I did that on the night, so I'm annoyed. But as I said, not taking anything away from Dan Henderson, he had a great performance and it was a fantastic knockout, so, fair play to him. Obviously, as I said, I'm annoyed and I want to come back in style, I feel I've got a lot to prove, I want to go out and, I want to continue to be one of the top middleweight fighters and I want to fight for the belt one day, and I think I have got the potential to do that, and, the people around me, think so also, I don't think, my head's in cloud nine, like some people seem to think, I've definitely got the potential, and I've had a setback, and now it's time to get back on the horse and try and, get back up the ladder, so to speak.
Okay, can you talk to us a little bit about what you thought maybe went wrong that night? A lot of people noticed the boxing coach of the Wolves there, Mark Kenny.
Yeah.
He was quite vocal in your corner in between rounds. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, trying to get you to circle the opposite way.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, obviously, I mean, it's no big secret, Obviously, I knew it myself, I mean, I teach a little bit, well, not so much anymore, but I used to, and I've kickboxed and boxed for many years. Dan Henderson's got a big right hand that he's well known for it. Obviously, circle the other way, you don't move on to the right hand. And in training, I was doing that well, and excuse me, I'm just eating my dinner there, so. It's well documented the power in his right hand, so you move the other way. Just like in the Lieben fight, he's got a big left hand, so you move away from their power point. You don't move to a fighter's strong side, you move to the weak side. And moving to the right would have been the thing to do. And in training and all through the camp, that's what I was doing. I don't know what happened on the night. I really could not sit here and give you a theory as to why I was moving that way, because the entire camp was based around moving the other way and cutting the angles going that way. But on the night I was doing that. I don't know why. If I gave a theory, I'd be making something up for the sake of it. For the interview. I don't know why. I mean, Dan was doing a good job. He was cutting off the cage well, but. I don't know. It was a bad night at the office. It was definitely not a high point of my career. As I said earlier, not taking anything away from Dan, but it wasn't my finest hour, and hopefully I'll come back and make up for it.
Okay, in your first few middleweight fights, you were very aggressive, came straight out the blocks, straight at your opponent. The last couple of fights, it worked well against Lieben, not so well against Dan, but you've seemed to have been on the back foot a little bit, circling away from the power. Is that purely because you've been fighting people who have got the knockout power?
Well, no, yeah, I mean, you've got to, devise a game plan based on your opponents, and my first few fights, as you said, at middleweight, this is it. People seem to think, I'll go to decisions or back off all the time. To be honest, with respect and without sounding like I'm full of my own shit, people need to go away and watch some of my past fights. I've finished many an opponent, but in the past, in the middleweight fights at the start, that was suited to them opponents. Lieben, the plan with Lieben, it wasn't to win by decision. It was to win the fight, and a lot of people are winning the fights all the way through with Lieben, but he's got an incredible chin, and he's got incredible heart as a fighter, and he's always dangerous, up until the fight's finished. So, it would have been a dangerous tactic to stand there right in front of him, and two people just to, you have to excuse me, that's my girlfriend opening and closing the creaky doors. It would have been a dangerous to stand there and, go toe to toe. Yeah, I'm sure it would have been, very exciting for the fans, but, I think I'm a little bit smarter than that, So, the game plan was, to move off his power hand, move off the left hand, and which I did well, and to counter him as he came in, and it worked well. It kind of turns out that Dan Henderson, obviously he's obviously more experienced and more accomplished than Chris Lieben, but he's kind of similar in some respects. He hits hard with his big right hand, and he's got a well-known chin. So it was kind of similar in some respects. So I had to, that wasn't the game plan, the entire game plan, but the game plan, to start off with was to, avoid his big shots and maybe let him wear down a little bit, and then start taking it to him in the second round. Because from the research, what I've done, he kind of goes hard in the first round. He's kind of tired in the second rounds. So I was going to try and exploit that in the second round, but it wasn't to be. He did what he had to do.
Okay, anybody logging into your website recently would have noticed you've had a trip to Thailand. What was all that about? Was it just purely a family trip, or did you manage to get a bit of training?
It was just a family trip. I was going to try and do some training out there, and hopefully try and bring a Thai coach back from Thailand with me. Not that we needed the Wolves, but just purely to help out Dave, the head Thai coach. And we've got the guys. The Wolves are getting really, really busy now. There's a lot of guys on the mat on a daily basis, and the coach is pretty full. So I spoke with Anthony, the owner, and he was like, "Yeah, if I can get someone to come over for a short while, and then so be it." But to be honest, I never had time. The holiday, I took some time off. I mean, all this year, pretty much my entire life, I haven't had a holiday for the last couple of years, and 2 or 3 years. My life is literally 100% dedicated to mixed martial arts, and I suppose it was time. It was a bad loss, So I took a few weeks off, just forget about mixed martial arts for a while, and just take some time out for me and my family. Obviously the kids were off school at the moment, so I was go out there, spoil them a bit, forget about mixed martial arts, eat what I want for a change, and it was nice. It was nice. But that said, it's also nice to be home and back in the gym. I love mixed martial arts, and I love fighting for a living. I feel very lucky that I'm able to do a career that I passionately love and get paid for it. So it's nice to be back, and I'm looking forward to training hard for the next fight.